Hi, welcome. Today we are here with Tarun Bhatia. He is the Vice President of Insights and Advisory at Evalueserve. Tarun has more than 20 years of experience and he recently participated in the G2H India. This is an event that reunites stakeholders in the hydrogen industry, and he shared groundbreaking insights on green hydrogen potential, right? And how this is reshaping energy in supply chain, and also how this is contributing to the decarbonization efforts, right, Tarun?
Thank you, Marcella. Thank you for having me here, and I'm very happy to share insights from my participation from the conference.
Great, Tarun. So can you share some key takeaways of this participation? What trends or innovation in green hydrogen stood out to you?
Yeah, so first of all, Marcella, I would say that it was an honor to represent Evalueserve at the Hydrogen Summit, right? It happened in one of the new convention centers on the upcoming expressway in the capital of India, right? So, as a knowledge partner to some of the large global companies in the hydrogen value chain, we have been working extensively, right, with corporates, governments across this sector. And when it comes to India, I would say that there are several reasons to be optimistic, right? Factor one, I would say energy consumption. If you look at the total energy consumption of India, right, 25% comes from electricity, while the remaining 75% comes from other industrial sources. Now, green hydrogen has a potential, has a huge potential to fulfill the non-electricity energy demand, especially as India ramps up renewable energy production, right? So this represents a complete decarbonization pathway. The second factor is energy independence, right? As a country, India is a net importer of crude oil, and hydrogen offers a crucial pathway to energy independence, right? When it comes to the infrastructure, right? When it comes to
Mhm.
electricity grid in India, India has one of the strongest electricity grids. Transporting hydrogen is expensive, but using the grid to source renewable energy and produce green hydrogen near demand centers can work best for India. Even developed economies like Australia, US, they don't have such extensive grids, right, as
Mhm.
compared to India. The fourth point is scale and manpower, right? All of these large gigawatt projects require significant manpower, and India is well poised to supply that manpower, right? So, and the last but not the least, the fifth factor is the government support, right? So the Indian government is thinking about it in a very integrated way, right? So, right from the hydrogen production to storage to distribution to the exports, right? They have created initiatives like PLI, production linked incentives, hydrogen offtake MOUs with countries and companies, and then the entire national hydrogen mission, right? It all paves a great pathway towards hydrogen landscape in the country.
This is a very strong take, Tarun. I can see how India is positioning itself strategically in the green hydrogen space. So, how do you see the green hydrogen market evolving in the next 5 years based on what you discussed on the summit?
India's national green hydrogen mission has an ambitious target, right? So I think the formal target that they have disclosed right now is around 5 million tons, 5 million metric tons per annum of green hydrogen by 2030. I think they
Mhm.
will gonna soon increase it to around 7.5 million metric tons per annum. And overall, the projected hydrogen demand at that time in 2030 is around 11 to 12 million metric ton per annum, right? So there is a huge ambitions around it. The opportunity is obvious, right? I'm sure to anyone who is interested in hydrogen landscape, the opportunity is very, very clear and
Mhm.
loud. But when it comes to the goals, right, to overcome the challenges and achieve these opportunities, the first goal has to be cost reduction, right?
Right.
Overall, one has to bring the cost of producing green hydrogen to less than $2 per kilogram. Second, factor is infrastructure development, right? So developing scale around it and the infrastructure to optimize costs related to green hydrogen conversion, storage, and transport would be the key. The third point is that industry support, right? So government needs to support the industries that are likely to adopt green hydrogen better than the conventional industries. For example, the industries that are currently using gray hydrogen, right? If the
Right.
government can provide direct subsidies, they can adopt green hydrogen faster. The fourth factor would be export potential, right? India has huge export potential for not only for green hydrogen, but for green hydrogen derivatives as well, because the the energy intensity increases in significantly in the hydrogen derivatives, right? For example, green ammonia, green methanol. And last but not the least, right, one can also disincentivize carbon intensive alternatives like encouraging a shift away from carbon intensive energy sources, right? So all
Mhm.
of these factors, if it can be worked in a structured fashion, will help develop the hydrogen landscape significantly in next 5 years. It is not impossible. It is achievable, realistic, and one needs to plan the execution in a structured manner on the ground.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very interesting roadmap you're describing. It will be fascinating to see getting into action, right? So, from your perspective, how do you envision green hydrogen reshaping global energy? I know that you may have some advice for companies looking to explore green hydrogen opportunities. What would be the key advice in terms of strategy, partnerships, or maybe investment?
Yeah, so I would say that green hydrogen is very vital when it comes to achieving global decarbonization
Mhm.
goals, particularly for hard to abate sectors like steel, chemicals, heavy transport, which are difficult to electrify. It also plays a crucial role in energy storage and grid stability by storing excess renewable energy and balancing supply and demand. See, in terms of economic impact, green hydrogen will create new global trade routes and
Mhm.
economic opportunities, especially for countries with abundant renewable resources. Significant investments in infrastructure will also generate new supply chain dynamics, leading to job creation and economic growth. Right. So now the key point is that what do companies need to do, right? So to achieve all of this,
Mhm.
in my view, and this was also evident from my participation in the summit, is that companies need to work on the green hydrogen opportunities in a very systematic manner. First, they need to develop a very clear strategy, right? They need to
Mhm.
conduct a thorough market research, set clear goals. What is their company's current strength? And what
Mhm.
are their objectives for next few years? They need to define the strategy on the particular part of the value chain where they would be participating, right? They need to
Mhm.
create strategic partnerships with governments, industry leaders, so that they leverage expertise and infrastructure. They
Yeah.
need to invest in technology and innovation, right? So focus on R&D and adopting advanced technologies to improve efficiency and cost effectiveness will be the key. And there were many global companies in the summit which reflected that the technology is ready, right? There were companies which were reflecting that advanced caverns are possible now, are practical now to store hydrogen, right? So they need to secure financing and they need to manage risk, right? One can source the funding from diversified sources
Mhm.
such as government, other sources of capital investment, right? And they need to create a robust supply chain together, right? They need to invest into infrastructure and optimize logistics to ensure there is a reliable supply, right? So all of this, if it can be worked in a structured manner, it creates huge opportunity when it comes to companies embarking on the different parts of the value chain of hydrogen.
Mhm. Okay. I see that it's set to take up the global energy supply chain, right? Um, but a critical factor, I think, is in accelerating this transition is government support, right? So, how
Right.
important do you think these policies, these regulations are in driving green hydrogen adoption? And what key changes or incentives are still needed?
See, as is true with the new energy sources, right? Any new energy sources, right? We have seen it for EV landscape in Americas and the rest of the world, right? Government policies and regulations are very crucial, right, for driving the green hydrogen adoption. Continued support is required through incentives, subsidies, infrastructure development to help accelerate this transition. I
Yes.
would say that in India, the National Green Hydrogen Mission provides a very integrated framework when it comes to government's ambitions on the ground for the next few years, right? So the
Mm.
mission captures the targets of 5 million metric tons of green hydrogen by 2030, right? It aims to install 100 gigawatts of electrolyzer installations, right? This will, of course, create about 600,000 new green jobs, right? Overall, it requires more than 100 gigawatts of renewable energy for green hydrogen production,
Mhm.
right? What can be achieved, right? Overall, 50 million metric tons of carbon abatement can be cumulatively achieved, and it can generate the capital outlay planned under this mission is around $2 billion, right? So all of these policies, targets, goals, if executed in a structured manner on the ground by the collaborative efforts of the government and the participating companies, it will create a huge opportunity for everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Tarun, for this. It was very inspiring, the insights you shared today. So now is the time to explore the potential of green hydrogen, right? So I would like to invite the audience to connect with us to harness the green hydrogen revolution and to seize its opportunities. Right? Can they
We have been
connect?
working in this space for last 5 years very actively, and we would welcome
Mm.
any opportunity to support the ambitions of any corporate when it comes to hydrogen landscape. Thank you very much, Marcella. Thank you for having me. It was very interesting.
Thank you.